How are things going? The game has started. Now we need to take a look at how to tackle this problem and see how we can utilize this problem into our real life example so that we can understand and see how we can harness our concepts that we learned in Pythons to different game of logic. Now, let's take a look at what this problem is. A robot moves in a plane starting from the original point 0, 0. The robot can move toward up, down, left, and right within a given steps. The trace of robot movement is shown as the following: up, down, left, 2. And the numbers after the directions are steps. Please write a program to compute the distance from current position after a sequence of movement and original point. If the distance is a float, then just print the nearest number. For example, if the following tuples are given as to the program, up 5, down 3, left 3, right 2, then the output of the program should be 2. In case of input data being supplied to the program, it should be assumed to be a constant input. So I guess that we can just call this function anything that we want. I can say def game or def robot. So what I figure out here is first we need to parse the data, meaning by we need to analyze how to solve these questions or problems. So it seems that as long as the input is consistent, we can get the data from the user. And the way we do it is, I guess, probably true using the while loop. So while true, well, if it's true, I'd say move equals input. So this, I'm gonna get the input. I'm gonna get the data of the moving here by the user input. And if I'm not gonna move here, then I'll break it. This means if not move, if there's no input, then I'm gonna break it. Means I'm gonna get out of this while loop. Meaning that if there's an empty, the line of input that does not take any inputs from the users, then I'm gonna break it out of the loop. Else, what I want to do is I want to store this data into our own data structure. So which data do you think we can store and understand? I guess that the way we think about this problem is we definitely need to use the dictionary because there are only 4 types of keys and following values. So I can the dictionary might be a good choice here. So I'd say dic equals like this. And how do we store this dictionary? Let's think about first. Let's parse the data. How do we parse the data? I'll say action equals what? We can sort of split up this action by certain movement. Move.split by I can like move that split, so I can literally split this each line of data by its space. And what I want to do afterward is I guess that we can loop through it, and I guess the x. Let me see x. There are many ways for doing it. X for x in move that split. So in this case, the x or the instance here will be either right or 2. And what I want to do is let's store this information in our dictionary list. So what would be the key of that? Definitely the sub-0, which is the first element here. That's going to be the key of our dictionary, as you see. And later on, this is how we do populate dictionary. Use the dict sub of it's the key, and then the later we want to populate the dictionary by its value. When you want to say that we want to use the integer or a float, doesn't matter. I guess using float because there might be some, I guess we can use integer because there's like no like decimal like a point of steps. Int action, I'd say 1. And then what we want to do after this is we want to basically calculate its coordinate. Actually, the distance from the origin. The way you do it is usually the square root of the x, the delta x square plus the delta y square. What I mean by that is, okay, I would say define a variable. So after we all parse out the data, now we want to calculate the distance from origin. The way you do it is, I would say coordinate equals square. So I want to use a square. So in order for us to use the square function, we need to import it, right? Import sqrt, which is the square root. I want to import the square root of function here. And I'll say the power of absolute value of dict up in this case minus dict down. I hope you see where I'm going. So basically this absolute value, we don't need absolute, but I'm just including because we're calculating distance. The power of 2 means the square of it plus the square root of, everything is in our square root basically. The power of the absolute value of dictionaries, the value of right I guess, minus dictionary of the left, power, power 2, right? So that's sort of the dictionary is the negative, the distance to power 2. And then the square root of that is going to be our coordinate. And I want to return it, but we want the nearest integer. So there are many, many ways to do it. I'll just use the round function in Python to help you understand. This is kind of be a pretty dynamic game, I guess. This robot game, I mean. So after that, let's print out what we can get here. Print game. So we can let's feed some input based on our examples, and hopefully that spits out 2 here. Perfect. What if we have different? What if we? Okay. Let me run one time again. How about let's move up 10 times and down 5 times. I mean, let's 3. Let me think about it. Down 6 times. What about left 5 times and right 5 times? I guess that the expected input that we can get here is definitely 4, which is correct. So I hope you enjoyed my video. You can all try different the type of examples to verify whether your logic is working or not. But this is such a great example of a game. I mean the 2D dimensional game in Python to be implemented. I hope you have a great day, and please subscribe to the channel, as I love you guys. Bye bye.